Fox News 92.5, time is 8:08. Good morning, good to be with you. Trey Radel here, your host of Daybreak. James Madison Institute, the James Madison Institute. Imagine it kind of like a conservative kind of think tank, if you will, here in the state of Florida for state issues. They're always educating people on free market solutions for problems that face us every day here in the state of Florida. Now, they're out and about contacting people, getting in touch with people, and they're here locally, and ran into Bob McClure and wanted to get him on the show. He's the president, and he joins us right now. Bob, how are you?
Trey, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. If you want to learn more about this, jamesmadison.org is their website, the James Madison Institute. Let's talk about it. Bob, tell me, I'd like to first start in the macro, the big picture here. We had the Republican debates last night. What's your take on the debates? And from there, could you talk to us a little bit about how Washington is overreaching when it comes to states' rights?
Well, I thought the debate last night for the first time was really interesting. What I see is a healthy process taking place among a lot of candidates, any one of which would do a far better job of protecting liberty and the rule of law than the current president that we have now. Any one of those would do a much better job. We can debate personalities, we can debate personal issues, but what I thought was interesting is that last night you were beginning to see each candidate, and particularly the leaders. You have to talk about Romney, you have to talk about Herman Cain, you have to talk about, to some degree, Perry, although I know he's fallen off the map. He has still raised a ton of money, so he's a formidable candidate in that sense. And you're seeing some of them really sharpen their message and not backing off of the idea of limiting the role of government in our daily lives and protecting the free market and emphasizing personal responsibility. So I think to that end, once we get through this process, I think the Republicans, and JMI is not a Republican organization, we're a free market think tank, I think the Republicans will have a viable candidate.
Bob McClure on the line with us right now with James Madison Institute. JamesMadison.org is their website. Bob, what is the climate today with Washington's kind of overreach when it comes to our state economy and our states' rights?
Well, the founders understood from day one that the states were the laboratories of democracy, that the states were where the great action was taking place. When Madison and Hamilton and Jay were writing the Federalist Papers, they talked about the powers of the federal government being few and very defined, to paraphrase Federalist 45, and the powers of the states to be broad and far more infinite. And so the action, what they set up was a nation where the great action was going to take place in the states. And so welfare reform of the 90s came out of Wisconsin. Tremendous education reform here in Florida, which has rocketed the state of Florida to top 10 in the country, obviously came here and is being replicated around the country. Budget and tax issues, all the great actions happening in the states. And the federal government has either through legislation, Obamacare is a perfect example, or through the regulatory environment, tried to impose its will in a central command way from Washington to tell the people of Naples or Fort Myers or the people of anywhere, Akron, Ohio, that they know best. They know better than we do here in Florida, and that is, I think, where you see the great anger among us, among the people, and I think this, Trey, I think that's why you're seeing a tremendous response to numerous non-politicians who are running for office, businessmen and women, citizens, activists, PTA moms. They are gravitating to those kinds of candidates because, what have career politicians gotten us so far? They've gotten us into this mess.
Could not agree more. Bob McClure on the line with us right now. He's with the James Madison Institute. This is a fantastic organization, a think tank looking for free market solutions and educating people on solutions for all of us, for the problems that we face, from the foreclosures in your neighborhood, the job loss that you or your family facing right now. This is a great institute. You could go to jamesmadison.org to take a look at that. One thing, Bob, that I think that I was extremely frustrated with kind of career politicians in Tallahassee specifically came to high-speed rail. That was just an absolutely divisive issue for true fiscal conservatives in this state. Governor Rick Scott, now feeling a little vindicated, he shut down high-speed rail, and it went to California. In California, they estimated a few years ago at $32 billion. Now, it is now at 100, and they are on the hook for that. We're doing well. What is your take on high-speed rail, and kind of why even some Republicans went to push for this so hard?
Well, obviously I can't divine what in the minds of some folks, but the reality was, in my opinion, is that some folks saw it as easy money. Put aside the fact that the feds initially wanted to give us a portion of money that, first of all, the feds don't have. It's like giving it to us on their credit card. Yeah. It was ridiculous. The idea that somehow the state was going to get some easy money for this supposed high-speed rail, but it was only a portion. I don't remember the exact figures, maybe a third of what was projected, and you just hit it on the head, what was projected. The ridership, the dollars to build high-speed rail, they never work out. Well, understand this, and we worked with Governor Scott on this, and he was absolutely right to reject those funds and to reject high-speed rail, and we worked closely with him on it, and he's been vindicated. Understand this, Trey. There are only 2 high-speed rails in the world that make money. One's in Paris and one's in Tokyo. The rest of the high-speed rails across the globe are money pits. So to think somehow that the state of Florida was going to even break even on something as foolish as high-speed rail was simply ridiculous. And the governor made the absolute right decision to reject those funds, and he's going to be vindicated each and every day going forward.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Bob McClure with the James Madison Institute on the line with us right now. You can learn more about him. JamesMadison.org is their website. So, Bob, you're out doing community outreach, things like that. I'll just wrap up with any other kind of pressing issues you think that we here in the state of Florida are facing.
Well, I think Florida is really the most interesting state in the country right now. We joke at JMI that if California is the bellwether for everything that's wrong in public policy in the country, Florida and Texas are by far the two that are on the right track. And Florida is interesting because of kind of the history and the great debates that have taken place here. And at the federal level, they're talking about spending, they're talking about health care reform. Florida, because we have the entire country, Florida, if you think about it, Hispanic, African American, rural, urban, growth, the housing market, military, retirees, the list goes on and on and on. We've been debating these issues here in Florida for a generation, and the feds are now just getting to them. And we have a tremendous climate for business. It's going to take some time. I know many of your listeners are hurting from this economy, but the governor's done an outstanding job to essentially say Florida's open for business. He's trying to reduce the regulatory environment, lower taxes, and allow people to allocate capital properly. And so given the important nature of our great state, I think 2012 is going to be fascinating for all of us. And it's incumbent upon all of us, listeners and myself and us at the James Madison Institute, to get educated, to stay informed, and to act. We've got a tremendous opportunity to turn this country around, and Florida can lead.
Bob McClure, very well put. I appreciate your time this morning. JamesMadison.org is the website. Always appreciate it. We have any other issues coming up, I'd love to have you on again.
Thank you, my friend.
All right,
appreciate
Bob,
being on.
Take care, buddy. Again, Bob McClure with the James Madison Institute, kind of a free market think tank here in the state of Florida. And look, I think he hits it on the head. Career politicians in the process of this that have toed the line for just too many interests for far too long. Got to shake it up.